What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access to Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one, and we appreciate your support and getting us this far. Now, today for Best Albums, we have the honor and privilege of being joined by Yomo from Yomo Maulkie. Thanks for coming through, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yes. So Yomo has selected Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet. This is Public Enemy's third album, came out in 1990. Phenomenal project, has one of the best album covers of all time. So I hope to get Chuck D on cover story for that. So Yomo, let's start with the album cover. It's play off of Star Wars. It's amazing. And it's also one of those album covers. They're not even on the cover, but it was like phenomenal.
Yeah, just their logo, right?
So then explain for you, like when you saw that cover, what were you thinking?
Oh man, like I said, the B-boy and the crosshairs logo like that, coming across the planet like that. Oh man, what can you say? There are really no words for that, and especially for a 20-year-old kid. This is highly influential for me.
Yeah.
Like it almost means everything to me.
Right. Now, also before Fear of a Black Planet and after It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, Welcome to the Terror Dome was released as a 12-inch single. And I didn't know if it was going to make it on Fear of a Black Planet because there was a big gap between the release of Welcome to the Terror Dome and Fear of a Black Planet.
Right.
So when you coming off of It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back and hearing Welcome to the Terror Dome, what were your thoughts going into this album about Welcome to the Terror Dome?
I don't know if I even really put that together, that was like, it was just a single in between these two albums, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was going to make it on the album.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even think I thought about that at all. Yeah, I really don't know, Soren. I really don't know. I just know that I'm glad you brought up Welcome to the Terror Dome because, man, that record is heavy.
Well, we'll break it down. What makes it heavy to you?
All those samples, and the way Terminator X, speaks with his hands.
Yes.
Come on down, get down. You can get it. And would had the Temptations in the background. Like, man, that a whole lot of elements. And don't they have like Darling Nikki from Prince in there too? Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Like
that's one of those songs from Public Enemy that has so many samples. It's hard to digest. All of them and to catch them all. But I also Welcome to the Terror Dome, I also thought was so amazing because the Chuck D's flow is so unorthodox, generally speaking. But even on that one, he's pausing more and taking more breaks. And they're cutting in and out way more, I think, than they did even on It Takes a Nation of Millions, which had a lot of that.
Right.
This seemed like It Takes a Nation of Millions, like on a different level because they had more practice doing that style of production.
Right.
And I also thought it was interesting, because none of this stuff ever bothered me, which caused a little divergence of me and some of where I grew up in Maryland's very racially diverse.
Sure.
But some of my white friends at around this time in 1989, Welcome to the Terror Dome, but in 1990, Fear of a Black Planet, some of them were starting to get uncomfortable with some of the what could be perceived as anti-white lyrics that were starting to be very prevalent.
Right.
But I also thought it was interesting that Chuck D, every brother ain't a brother because a black man squeezed on Malcolm X, the man.
Right.
And I also thought that was interesting that given the controversy that they address with Professor Griff and all this other stuff, that he was pointing that out at that time for Public Enemy, but also the fact that he even pointed it out.
Right. Right.
So for you, when you heard those type of lyrics, did they affect you at all, or what did they mean?
uh, yeah, they did affect me, Soren. They affected me to the degree of wanting to be like that and wanting to say stuff like that. So, welcome to the Terror Dome. I'm in the midst of writing for my album, Are You Experienced? My album comes out in 91. So, man, from 89 through 90, I'm writing that. So it had a major effect on me. Absolutely. And I would say in a positive way. I must say, man, that like, Chuck D taught me a lot about my blackness in this country through those songs.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not black, but it was the same for me. I learned a lot and got a lot of like hints from Boogie Down Productions, Public Enemy,
Right.
X
Right.
Clan, Brand
Oh
New.
man, X Clan. That's right. Oh my God. Shout out to Brother Jay.
Absolutely. We had the benefit and the honor of having Brother Jay on. There's a link if you guys missed it. But
Poor righteous.
I learned so much from listening to rap and different things that when I would ask, I was very fortunate that when I would ask my dad questions, he's like, oh, my dad told me the autobiography of Malcolm X is the best autobiography ever written. And when I was talking to him about it, he encouraged me to read it and said I should, because it's the best autobiography ever written.
Wow.
So I was fortunate that, my dad in particular really encouraged me and supported me as I was learning about, all these different things that clearly weren't taught typically in school.
Right.
That when I would ask my dad, he would encourage me to research them and learn about them on my own. Now, with Fear of a Black Planet, getting to the album itself, the introduction, man, the contract on the word love jam. I know you love that intro. Why is it so powerful to you?
Because it's the greatest. It is the greatest intro to a hip hop record in history. I defy anybody, including you, sir, to find a doper intro to a rap record. I defy.
It's phenomenal. And the way that it goes into Brother's Gonna Work It Out.
That's what I'm saying.
Is incredible. Now, Brother's
controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Brother's Gonna Work It Out, that song always struck me because my dad growing up loved rock and roll, and he loved the Beatles in particular. But I often didn't like as much when rap sampled heavy guitar so much. I don't know why. I just didn't like it as much as I do now, maybe. But back then I did not. But Brother's Gonna Work It Out was an exception. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the Bomb Squad, like they. Yeah, man.
Now, Brother's Gonna Work It Out. I also remember they filmed the video for that in Virginia Beach for some of the protests and stuff that was going on there. But with Brother's Gonna Work It Out, what lyrically stood out to you about that track?
I can't cite one thing, sorry. All of it. Everything Chuck D said and says on that album is the gospel for me. Like, it's everything. Like I told you earlier, man, the most I wanted out of my album was for Chuck D to think I was dope.
Yeah.
So I can't really cite one specific line that he had, because they were all his lines are phenomenal.
Absolutely. And then we have to also pay homage to the greatness of Flavor Flav, because 911 is a joke is on there.
Yeah.
So 911 is a joke, I think, is obviously a very popular Public Enemy song, but also I
Mhm.
think one of the less appreciated of their brilliant songs.
Uh-huh.
So what did you take from 911 as a joke?
Um, I mean, the social commentary, I really didn't give two shits about that. Uh, what I cared about was that Flavor is rapping. Flavor is generally just a hype man, right? So to hear Flav, do a whole record, that's what it was for me.
Mm-hmm. And coming from It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back with Cold Lamp and with Flavor, which is more of a braggadocio song, to hear him take a concept and a story and execute it the way that he did, I thought was brilliant. And then of course that video is so out of control. Out of control.
Don't you love it? I think that's Brothers Gonna Work It Out when Flavor does that. Who you gonna trust? Me, me. Man, just the dynamic between those two, man, was even though Flavor is supposed to be like the clown jester of the group, man, the way they put that together, Flavor was just as militant as Chuck.
Right.
Even in the comedy aspect of it, it wasn't like fluff.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
I got flavor and all those things. Yeah, boy, part two for the rest of the show.
Right.
Yo, Griff, get the green, black, and red in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go down, count down to Armageddon. Now,
Yep.
Speaking of Armageddon, we got Polly Wanna Cracker also is on Fear of a Black Planet. And that one was very striking to me because of the flow and delivery style that Chuck used there.
Mhm.
Was very, very different than most of the rest of his material up to that point.
Yeah.
So when you heard him change his voice and change his style and do that flow, what were you thinking artistically and creatively?
You know what? I didn't think that was Chuck. It struck me so that like Chuck D don't sound like that. That can't possibly be Chuck D. I just thought that, that was one of the S1Ws or something that he, you know what I'm saying? That's what, at least initially, that's what I thought. So with that being said, I wasn't in awe, like, oh my God, look at what Chuck is doing, because I didn't even think it was Chuck. What I was into was the story about how, the brother, he only wants white girls, or just all that. That's what it was for me.
Yeah. And
Probably wanna, and then the way Terminator X scratched. Why must I feel like that? Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I thought it was amazing how they put the black dad, white mom, black baby, white mom, all that
Black
stuff.
baby. Exactly. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's possible or is hip hop too far gone, too sophisticated to produce anything like that again?
No, I think it's highly possible, and it could and should be done. And I think the difference is, I'm generally speaking now,
right?
But I think generally speaking, this Fear of a Black Planet came out in 1990. So if we go 1990 and earlier, the goal, I think, for almost every artist that I've talked to, that I've seen, that I read about at the time or earlier, it was always to be a great artist. It was always to push the art forward or in a different direction, or just to be distinctive. And I think the challenge and the problem now is that people don't cherish the artistry of it. They cherish the ability to potentially make money.
Yeah, everybody's chasing the bag now. I don't think anybody's chasing.
Well, no, there's
maybe with the exception of Kanye.
Well, there's people that definitely, I still believe, are driven by art, at least in part. But I think the that to me is a seismic shift in the creation of rap that we didn't have around this time in 1990 and
Right.
earlier. So I think the challenge is where we have artists that are still amazingly like MC Ren just dropped a project. People are still putting out stuff.
Ren just dropped the project?
Yeah, Osiris, check it out. But
it's on YouTube?
It's on everywhere.
Okay.
But the point is that we have to, I did a video about this too, the link's right there, but we have to, Ice-T still puts out material, Master Ace, KRS-One, Scarface, all these guys that we grew up admiring from the 80s up, they're still release music, but because either we're busy or older or think rap doesn't appeal to us anymore, we don't support it. But that's one of the main reasons, not one of the main, it's a reason why I always get excited to speak to people like you or to Chuck D or to Master Ace, because the music is what made me get into all this, and I love it. And that's why Unique Access exists, purely because I love rap. And that's
right. Clearly.
That's what I want to talk about all the time is rap.
Right.
So there you go. So back to how that pertains to Fear of a Black Planet. With Burn Hollywood Burn, we had one of the earliest and best unexpected collaborations ever, with Ice Cube and Big Daddy Kane being on there.
Oh, right.
So when you heard that song, what was going through your mind?
Oh man, dude, I mean, Ice Cube. That is hands down my favorite verse on that record. On the Burn Hollywood Burn, like his part is my favorite part. Okay, for sure. Ice Cube is now down with the PE. Oh my God, just his style, the way he came in, it was very nonchalant. It wasn't super over the top like he could be, right? Don't fight the power, shoot the motherfucker. I mean, that's just so, yeah.
That was before he joined the Hollywood fraternity.
Yeah, that was before he joined the Hollywood fraternity.
Yeah. And, you know, I must say, Big Daddy Kane is my favorite on that song. I just think his verse is longer than Cube's, for one, but then two, the way that Big Daddy Kane basically broke down in a lot of ways the evolution of Black cinema up to 1990.
Right.
I thought was so brilliant.
Right.
And how he early on in the game called for the empowerment of women in a way that we didn't often see at that point, especially to do it in a song about Hollywood in general. He was like, we need intelligent Black women on the scene, and they are there. We just need to showcase them. Right. So all of that, I just was like, man, Big Daddy Kane, that was stellar to me.
Hey man, you know what? Speaking of Big Daddy Kane, we never got to this, but two things. Big Daddy Kane was probably one of my biggest influences before Chuck D. During my Dezo Daz days, it was about Big Daddy Kane for me. I even opened up for Big Daddy Kane as Dezo Daz.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, they had this little spot on Washington, like down by like the convention center. They called it the Casa. No. You don't remember that back in the days? Anyway, yeah,
well, I wasn't here yet.
Club. It was a big club, and he had a show there, and Dezo Daz opened up for him. I don't have the picture anymore, but I even had an autographed picture of him, and he autographed it saying, "Dezo, keep lamping."
That's impressive.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then also on Fear of a Black Planet, we have Power to the People and Who Stole the Soul back to back, which two lesser and those two, it's, to me, it's the chorus and the energy of the beats are so powerful on both of those songs.
That's really a good way of putting it, man. The energy of those beats, man, are infectious.
Yes, absolutely.
For Soren.
And then we get the B-side Once Again on the B-side of the album. Did that one stand out to you for any particular reason?
Which one?
The B-side Once Again?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, that whatever to that one. Not one of my favorites.
Okay. But then, like Welcome to the Terror Dome, the previously released Fight the Power ends the album, ends Fear of a Black Planet. So what did it add, or what did it mean to you to have Fight the Power on Fear of a Black Planet?
It really didn't mean anything to me because it was already, it was a single already. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had heard that record. So whatever, I was more into the stuff I hadn't heard.
Gotcha.
You know.
Okay.
So even like I gotta say, even if Fight the Power was not on that album, that would have been okay because I had already heard that song anyway. I didn't need it on the album.
I agree with you, but I think having it on there made me very happy because then it was on an album and it was part of this masterpiece of an album.
This collection of yeah.
And it fit right in, I thought, very well.
Yeah.
So looking back now, what do you think is the legacy and the significance of Fear of a Black Planet by Public Enemy?
Well, if I could cite one piece of legacy, it definitely launched my career. You know?
That's important.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I said, man, my goal was if Chuck D thought I was dope, that's all I needed. And it was that album that made me feel like that. Before, when in Nation of Millions, it was a great album, but I didn't think I felt like I need to impress the students. It was when Fear of Black Planet came out, I was like, okay, this is the man right here. I have to be as good or if not better than him. And I don't think I was ever better, but I think I was as good. And, I would like to know, Chuck, if you're listening, brother, I would like to know, did you think I was dope? Because that was the goal. Straight up.
Well, there it is, y'all. Yomo, thanks for coming through to Best Albums, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Flav 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.